So this is where battle plan is, where do we want to engage in price? Our core strategy, which is our scalping system, helps you get in that trade. Okay, so those two things work really, really well together because the battle plan tells us where. The scalping strategy, the core strategy, is how we get in. So those work out really well. You might have your own entry system as well, but absolutely beautiful trade here. Great trade location to say, I've got to be careful with holding longs. And as we talked about yesterday, if you watched the review, we have a strong level right here. It also says warning shot to bears. And this was a perfect place that if you made me short, I would short here or the next strong level. And as we were holding longs coming into that area, we were moving up our stops tighter and tighter. Why? Because of trade location. We're being intentional about where are we on the chart. You are the pilot of your trading aircraft. I'm the navigator that helps you see the bigger picture, helps the zoom out, helps the where are we. That's my role, and that's what I actually, in my humble opinion, do very, very well. Now, look what London did. My goodness, what a pullback into there. But we know where we're at. Am I interested in re-engaging in Battle Plan 1? Maybe. But would I require even a snappier ladder back? I mean, I look at every trade as having a certain amount of bounce power, okay? So we draw levels on our chart, on a 3-minute chart, and we trade those as our scalps, okay? Where I'm expecting it to touch and go. And so once it touch and goes, this level is now tested, and I usually won't trade it again, okay? Now that's on a 3-minute chart. On a battle plan, it's similar, but it can bounce several times. Doesn't mean I'm going to enter it the second time. It doesn't mean I'm going to enter it the third time. But I would say this particular move right here, how much bounce power did that take? It took the whole freaking RTH, 50-point move from here. So what behavior would I want to see if I was going to trade it a second time? Number one, smaller leverage. If I was to do it again. 2, I'd like to see the deeper part of the battle plan mapping work out, and then us get back up. Where the label is where I think the safest entry would exist. So I'm going to be more picky if I'm going to take a round 2 of this level, okay? Or I'm going to be intentional about my trading and go, no, I'm not going to trade battle plan 1. I'm going to consider that done. So what you do is you come into your battle plan indicator, turn it off. Battle plan 1 right here. Just turn off the master toggle. Like, I don't even want to see that trade anymore. Boom, it's out of sight, out of mind. Now I want to engage deeper into here. Once again, being intentional about where I am trading, because I know we're bumping our heads up here against this. If we're going to break this, we probably need a bigger move deeper into the range again. So London did what London does. Well, it almost did. It typically takes out Asia's high and Asia's low. If you were trading during London and you're at an extreme edge of the Asia, you'd better be ready for there to be a reversal move to go to the other side. It happens, especially when we're in this trade location. So if you're in London and you see the full run up, we're hanging out, knowing the trade location, you've got to be on your toes for a potential short to come back into here. That's just the trade to take. Now, would you like it to go ahead and grab the Asia high? Sure, that would be ideal. But when you're up here, you've got to be looking for that. What is its nature and what does it do? What is London's nature and what does it do? And if you're aware of that and you're aware of trade location, maybe once or twice a week, you are going to have a super high probability trade for a nice move if you know where you're at on the chart. I would have preferred London to go ahead and grab that Asia high. That's just me, but it doesn't always do it. Then when you get this shift here, when you get that monster shift and you get that pushback, that's the perfect entry there. Core strategy all day long. If you wanted it, I would consider that the second ladder. And boy, you got to be cognizant of trade location. That's the part of the setup that a lot of people miss. Now, you short every short you've ever seen, you don't even care about trade location. You just happen to got lucky. But if you're cognizant of trade location, pretty cool. So I've locked in 5 could care less if it gets me out. We're about to open. A little close to the opening for a trade, but it dropped right down into battle plan 2, so I took it. You were waiting for it to take it? Yeah. You know, when it's bumping up there against this area. So I made it back to the warning shot to bears. First time they responded. Second time they hung out for a longer period of time. Then we lost it harder. But we held it for a longer period of time. I think that needs to be in our narrative here. So maybe the next time it makes it, maybe that can be where the break happens. But do I take my 20 pointer if it gets there? So I'm at a 20 pointer and a 5 pointer. I'm going to go to a 20 pointer and a 10 pointer and just let it, and just treat this as a scalp. I take profit at 10 pointer and I take profit at 20 pointer. Either which one it gets me out of, I don't care. I'm out at a 10 pointer. I am now flat. Opening candles here. Every entry is hyper dangerous. If you wanted to take the strong level at 42, it's a high risk trade on a high risk day. I took it with a 1 point stop loss, a 2 point. Then I moved it to 1 point. Now my stop's at break even. I want it to be a touch and go. I want to be right away or right out. All right. So now if you took that 42, perfect entry. Now move your stop to break even. Our commissions go hands free. Let's see if we can push up and fill the gap. Beautiful. All right. 10 pointer if you took it. Congratulations. Gap down. Bears control. Longs are counter. Small if at all. You only want to do longs, in my opinion, where we have battle plan ideas. We dropped from this area right into battle plan 2, offering a great entry. Now, do I know it's going to go 100 points or no? I don't know any of that. I just know that's where I'm interested in engaging in price. Beautiful strong levels there. Nice bounce, nice bounce. Can't ask for more than that. On the way down, where did it stop? It stopped at that strong level. So nice trading. If you took it, you had an opportunity to snag a 10 pointer. You had 3 contracts, certainly 10 point, 10 point, keep a single runner back, move the single runner to like -2 or -3 or -5 if you wanted to give it the biggest chance possible. Because you would lock 10 points, 10 points, you're up 20. Would you be willing to lose 5 of those to survive a double tap, or 1 of those to survive a double tap? All right, if you're long, try to stay long. Battle plan 2 performed beautifully. After what, a 50-point vomit? In fact, I prefer the longs. Yeah, 78-point drop into battle plan 2. That's cool. All right, if you're long, try to stay long. As it fills the gap here, you'll have an opportunity to take a 20-pointer if you wanted to take a 20-pointer. At this point, we made it to my mapping of where I was like, okay, I don't know. You know, I mapped this out, what, 15 hours ago? I'm just wanting to set the expectations, a be careful thing, and this is going to be a monster runner. If you traded small, if you did the 3 contract system, it literally doesn't matter because you're going to mechanically trade that. And, you know, this really falls in line with what we talked about in the AM briefing, being intentional about where you want to trade and waiting for price to get there. I watched that whole vomit. I'm like, okay, if you get down to battle plan 2, I'm going to play with you. I'm going to engage. Nothing to do now but the holding or the waiting for the next setup. Too bad that setup was in the first 3 minutes of trading. It's a dangerous time to trade. And if your trade plan says, I never trade the first 6 minutes, you didn't miss a thing. You followed your trade plan. That's more important. That is more important than being in this trade. You don't want leaky holes in your boat. You don't want to create a trade plan and then, well, you break that rule today and you break that rule tomorrow and before you know it, it's like a kid. They start violating your rules and they keep getting away with them. Guess what they continue doing? Until they finally blow up and you have to put your foot down as a parent and go, no, you're not doing that. You have to discipline yourself the same way. All right, so if you're long off battle plan 2 there, try to stay long. If it pushes up towards the yesterday's IB low, you'll have an opportunity to snag your 20 pointer if you wanted, or stay long for the potential of a larger move. You could also lock in your 10 pointer here if you only have one contract. Okay, dropped right into battle plan 2 where we're looking to get long. So if you're long with one contract and you want to take your 20, cool. If you did the 3 contract system, you're going to look to add to your trade up here. And if you take your 20 pointer off because you did one contract, we'll look to re-engage with price here. My humble opinion, your mileage may vary. You do you. You're the pilot of your trading aircraft. I'm just the navigator, helping point out the turbulence, the winds, the lightning strikes, the other aircraft. You pilot your aircraft. So if you got short as an example, yeah, you want to manage it. You might want to know where battle plan 2 is because we're really good at where is price going to react. But at the end of the day, you could say, nope, I'm going to manage my short using the 3 contract system, period, end of story. If it gets me out, it gets me out. Neither option is incorrect, because if you were following the 3 contract system short here, you're still short. It has not gotten you out. And if we keep vomiting down, beautiful. Traders get in less trouble if they trade less. So holding that runner under all, following the 3 contract system, holding that runner is to your benefit because it keeps you from trading any further. You're already in a winning trade. That's my opinion. Your mileage may vary. Bears control. As long as we are under this bull bear line, bears control. As long as we can't break into this range, bears control. Longs are counter, small if at all, never making things worse. Being more aggressive on stop management is probably wise. If you had a single contract, I assume you're out. Hopefully you captured 10 points on that move. That was nice. If you've got the 3 contract system, your stop's either at break even or a minus position, so you can absorb a double tap. You do you. But let's now focus on people who had a 3 contract system on that move. I love when it gets a strong move for a 10 pointer. Take your 10 point, you're up 20. Dude, you crushed it. If you can make more than 5 points a day on ES, you did great. More than 10 points a day, you crushed it. So this one trade, if you took off at 10-10, you're up 20. You freaking crushed it today. You don't need another trade. All you need now is to survive a double tap, in my opinion. Give it the option to double tap and hold. Let me pull up battle plan 3 here. I want to know where the next area is of interest. If we take out the low, it's down there. So if you're long with a 3 contract system, try to stay long. If you're flat, we're looking to see if we can reclaim these levels here. And if you're doing the 3 contract system, as we said, you can capture a 20 pointer just in front of this IB if you wanted the gap fill. And then we can look to maybe re-engage in price up here if that was how you wanted to trade it. We've already had one great entry that went 10 points. That's good. Bears control, longs are counter, small if at all. And it's beneficial too if you're flat. Say you took this backside short here, that you could be mentally trading that as we're looking for a long. Like, where would my stop be if I took that trade? What was the management of that looking like? And of course, if you were aggressive on the opening and took this trade, of course we're managing that as well. Both are beneficial. In my head, I'm managing both, to be honest. Where would the ideal stop be if you were short from up there? Well, I probably would use above the strong range if I wanted to be really aggressive. If not, I would move it to where it could tap the bottom of that strong range. If you're long with a 3 contract system, you've already TP'd, and you're holding a single runner back either at break even or the minus position to absorb a double tap. But if we were live for that short, I would have talked about, hey, this is an optimal place to take your profit. Could we continue? Sure. What do I know? But at this point, let's say you were short, you'd have to say it's laddering back against me. It doesn't mean you have to get out, but as objectively as possible, we're laddering back towards you. Nice take profit, Andrew, on your long last night. Coming in for a double tap. All right, there's your double tap survival. So at this point, if you did the 3 contract system here, you TP'd at 10, TP'd at 10, moved your stop to a minus position to absorb a double tap. You've now survived the double tap. And I would honestly go ahead and move your stop to either break even or cover commissions and see what it does. So bears control. Once again, another rejection up here at the warning shot to bears. TPI print, whatever the excuse is, it doesn't matter what the excuse is. It wasn't enough to break above, so it pulls further back. And the further it pulls back, the more we can get some juice to go to the north. This didn't do it, but it offered us a nice trade, 10 points or so. 5 points if you followed at 50%. I captured 10 because Vomit was really aggressive. I thought I needed to be aggressive in my take profit. Doesn't mean I was right, but that's what I did. This is the zone, that I'm most interested in. But notice where I thought the most optimal entry would be. It's after multiple ladders. Because if we get back down here, this gets dangerous. Just because I say this is where I think the safest entry lives doesn't mean you can't take, let's say it does that and you want to take a long off that strong or a long off the bottom of the strong range. But it is saying, hey, we need to be really careful down here. That's kind of the warning here. Be really careful. Even this one was a second ladder. They tried. They gave it up. So if you're short from up here, where this, you'd move your stop to above here. Any of these strong levels would be great take profits as well. If you said, I'm taking my money and I'm gone. I'm taking the gift, and you look at this and go, you got a gift of a 15-point candle, the gift of a 15-point candle, the gift of a 15-point candle. My goodness. How beautiful. And you actually had 2 backside entries on that move. Worth you doing an end of the day chart on the London session, my humble opinion. Get tomorrow's entries tonight at microstrader.com and click Battle Plan.